Or it says we're starting. Here we go. Okay. Greetings, everybody. This is Brendan and Jesse with Credit Repair Experts.
How's it going, everybody?
We wanted to hop on today because I was actually talking with Jesse on the phone this morning about how we have a lot of y'all asking us questions about, well, okay, you'll read stuff like 6802, 15 US Code 6802, or maybe 1692 or something like that, and you see that there's some exceptions in there, like in 6802, for example, it says that a consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report. Yeah, it's like one of the exceptions, which is correct. But we want to dispel some myths on why exactly using this law is so effective and why those exceptions still don't apply to the consumer reporting agencies or the credit bureaus. And that's for this particular fact that you must remember when dealing with any financial institution. You are the original creditor. Why? Because every single debt obligation or every single extension of credit is originated from your social security number. I'm going to say it again. Every loan or credit extension comes from your social security number.
So, if I can just jump in for a moment, basically, if you think back, like, as far as you possibly can, since you've been like an adult and you've been able to sign your own things, if you've ever gone out to get a loan, you've applied for a credit card. If you've ever tried to, get a car or a house or anything like that, the one thing that they all have in common is they ask for your social security number, even if you're just trying to open a bank account. And they're not doing that because they just need to run your credit. That's very, very surface level. So this kind of goes into what Brendan's talking about.
Yes, that's correct. It's not so much that they need to, like, if any of y'all are older watching this video, y'all know that on the social security card it used to say, not for identification purposes. So what's it for? It's not for identification purposes, but everyone's making you give it to them for ID or to do a background check. A background check of what? Well, the only thing it could be is something involving accounting, because it's an account, right? And apparently every time, you get your check, it goes into Social Security, a portion of it. Why? Because it's actually a contract trust account. It's actually set up as a trust account. Now that's a whole nother topic. But that you can prove that by looking at 15 U.S. Code 1602, which is what we're going to do right now.
Yeah, so y'all can't see our screen, but we're going to go ahead and just read this out to you. All this information you can verify by going to Cornell Law School's website, which is a great place, by the way, if you're looking for any legal information whatsoever. But yeah, here's the definition of what a credit card actually is.
So this is from 15 U.S. Code subsection 1602 I, item I. It says credit card. The term credit card means any card, plate, coupon book, or other credit device existing for the purpose of obtaining money, property, labor, or services on credit. Notice Congress said any card. Okay? And so is it a fact that you must use your social to obtain a house, property? You must use your social to get water and electric, labor. You must use your social to get a cell phone, services. You must use your social to get a loan, money. It's a fact. All those things you need your social for.
And your social security card is, guess what? A card.
It's a card. Social security card, not for identification purposes. What is it for then? It must be for some sort of crediting purpose, some sort of creditor purpose. So the reason why we're emphasizing this information is because when you're dealing with the credit bureaus and you're dealing with debt collectors, they're taking your credit and then acting like it's their credit and then saying that you owe them, whether it be a bank, whether it be a mortgage company, a title company, whether it be a car lot, whether it be a credit card company, even if it's an electric company, or even if it's medical. Okay, you need your social for medical. And so they're turning around and lying and saying that they created the loan, but really you created the loan and they did the paperwork for you. They took your social and used it and put a lien against it, and then took that lien, which is evidence of interest in property, and sold it on the stock market. Okay, you can actually find that out in Modern Money Mechanics, written by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And it says that banks create money through their lending activities.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any more official than the Federal Reserve.
No, and which is connected to all banks across the country. So, knowing that information, you can call out the credit bureaus and the debt collectors. You can tell the credit bureau straight up, look, this person right here is using my identity and saying that I owe them. Okay, I need you to send me the paperwork that they gave you validating that that's correct. Okay, this is where the validation idea comes in. But they got you thinking that they're the original creditors. This is why the validation letter idea doesn't work very well.
Right. It's also why whenever you're reading a lot of these laws, it does appear that they're justified in their actions. If you go in and you look at, like, say, 15 U.S. Code 1692, where it talks about exceptions, it'll tell you under the exceptions part, that they do have the right to be able to disclose your personal information as long as it is in regards to your credit report. But that's assuming that they're the creditor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's false information that doesn't even belong on your credit report because you're the original creditor. So that's a big concept that has to be understood. And once you understand that concept, that's how you know what they're doing is just straight up fraud.
And that's actually really what separates us from a lot of the other credit repair companies out there, because they want to try to argue the validity of the contracts, essentially. And they're wanting to make sure, like, oh, is the date correct? Is the charges correct? Are the addresses correct? And really, all that stuff is completely null and void whenever you understand that you're the original creditor. So that's how we're going to take the approach whenever you work with us. So knowing that moving forward, it places you in the position of power, and you won't have to do all that back and forth with the credit bureaus or debt collectors.
Absolutely. It looks like we got a question by Travis, who says, who is the book by? So the book I was referring to is called Modern Money Mechanics, and it was written by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It's not a book, it's a publication. But Federal Reserve Bank of New York wrote it.
Yeah, not any one individual.
Yeah, not any one individual is taking credit for that publication. But there are multiple publications that I can provide for you. I'll be posting stuff on my page about it, but I have many publications of banks straight up just telling you that they can't loan people money that deposit. Oh, whoops, wrong one. This one's us. They can't actually loan money from depositors, meaning if you put $1,000 in your bank account, they cannot take that $1,000 and loan it out to another individual. So where are they getting the money? Well, they are actually creating it. And so the credit card companies are taking your credit, they're taking your social security number, and then they're charging you a financing charge to do the paperwork equal to the amount of credit that was extended. That's how they're getting you. So they're never going to admit that either. If you try to get them to admit it, they're just going to dodge the question. So instead of getting them to admit it, you just get them to show you the paperwork. And since they're not going to do that, they're not going to admit that what they're doing is fraudulent, they'll remove it from your credit report. This is the strategy. And if they're really, they're really gung-ho about it, they really don't want to let it go, then you have small claims court, you have common law adjudication. And in common law, there's discovery, meaning they have to get the books from the financial institution. And so they will not allow that to happen. They will ask you to sell. So this is our approach. Most people are not willing to go to the lengths that we're willing to go to make sure that you get the results that you want. but you have to push. You have to be 100% convicted that this is the truth, and it is.
Let's see. Tyron Williams, thanks, brother. Joe Anthony. He's the man, Brendan. Sent my letters out yesterday.
Good, dude. Tell me how it goes. Make sure y'all sending out certified mail. I want to see pictures of that stuff. I want to see pictures. I want to see documentation. I want to see how y'all are doing through your process. We got to get everybody involved. There's power in numbers. Okay, I just went. The same thing's happening in court too. They're using people's socials to issue out court orders and make money. So I went up to court and I filed some documents. You should have seen the look on their face. You know, I told the clerk when I needed her to file my hold harmless agreement and my legal notice and demand, she said, "Oh, I only have this like one scanner. I have it riveted. I have it riveted like this." So she was like, "Oh, I need to tear it apart so that I can scan it in my thing." I said, "If you tear that apart, you're actually violating trust law. Like that's $500,000 violation against the trust. It's also tampering with the mail because I did another trade."
And before he gets into that, you know, whenever he told her that, you should have saw the look on her face. She stopped immediately. So they know that these documents that you're showing them, they're not just paper.
That's right. If you look right here, I actually made myself the postmaster general of this particular document by canceling a stamp, by writing my name across and putting my thumbprint on here and putting my name and the date. I'm the postmaster general of this document, meaning if you tamper with the mail, if you tamper this particular piece of mail or this piece of parchment, then that's actually a felony. That's mail fraud. And the Uniform Postal Union is actually above the courts and even above the U.S. Post Office. And they can enforce these documents. So that's a little bit more advanced, but we wanted to get y'all on board about what it means to be the creditor. So I'm really glad we did this video.